There you go.
Is that me? Okay, good.
That's it. That's right. And I'm just going to remove your name for right now. And this way it will not show up. So,
okay.
No, or maybe not. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and
pull it way over.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and start my share with you. This happens to be one of my favorite topics today of all time. So if you see me get a little bit worked up about it, that's why, because I'm very, very passionate about this topic. But today I'm going to try to keep things just informative and not get too heavy-handed on this topic. We're going to be talking about online scams. And if this is your first time joining me, I'm so glad that you're here. I know some people love to watch the videos at their own leisure and during your own time, and I totally get it. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Abby. I'm the founder of Senior Savvy, and I started this company in 2018. It's truly the marriage of two things that I love, which is all things tech and helping older adults. If you do have any questions, I just request that you save them until the end and I will answer them then. I am recording this, so if you want to go back and watch it at a later date, you can. Today's outline is in 3 parts. We're going to talk about common tech scams. I want you to be on the lookout for these. I also want to talk about protecting your accounts and what to do in the untimely event of a data breach. These are all things that we should talk about, but first, we're going to talk about what the top internet scams are. And the reason we're talking about these is to bring awareness to them, because I know that if you're aware of them, you will stop offering up your information and stop getting panicked that you're missing something or your account will be ending. So these online account scams, they typically happen through something called phishing. And what they're doing, these cyber criminals, is they're trying to get information from you to use for credit card theft, to capturing your login information, and even extracting some of your own password credentials. So I want you to be on the lookout for that. I'm going to go ahead and start a video right now for you that can explain this a little bit more. Here we go. Let me cue it up.
What do you think a phishing attack looks like? This? Or this? Maybe this? Ugh, not quite. In this instance, we're spelling phishing with a PH, and it's one of the most common online scams around. So what is it? Say you receive an email from your bank. They're asking you to log into your account and update your details. They've even provided a handy link that will take you straight to the relevant page. Great. Except that email isn't from your bank, it's from me. And I've set up a very convincing website that looks just like your bank site. So when you click my link and follow the bank's instructions, what you're actually doing is giving me all your login information and whatever personal or banking data I've asked for. Thanks. These kinds of emails have become commonplace in recent years, to the point that they're a bit of a joke. We've all laughed at the Nigerian prince wants to send me his fortune email. It's so obviously a scam. How does anyone fall for it? Well, firstly, if it didn't work at least some of the time, no one would do it. But secondly, by making you believe that all phishing emails are that obvious, those scammers have lulled you into a false sense of security, meaning you're much less likely to spot a better executed attempt. In a 2015 study, 97% of people were unable to identify sophisticated phishing emails. How many of those people thought they were too smart to be fooled? Part of the problem is that many people don't realize how personalized phishing can be. Targeted attacks are called spear phishing, and they're geared towards you. Usually, these phishers will have some prior information on you, taken from social media or online public records. They use this to tailor an email which seems too specific to be a generic scam, and so is far more believable and likely to yield results. And scammers know this. In a review of over 500,000 mailboxes, it was found that 77% of spear phishing attacks targeted 10 people or less. More alarmingly, 33% targeted just one. So what does one of these look like? Well, say your colleague has gone on holiday to Mexico. You know he's in Mexico because you saw him check into the airport on Facebook. A few days later, he sends you an email. He's really sorry to reach out. His phone, wallet, and passport have been stolen, but fortunately, he remembered your email address. Could you possibly wire him some money using this link? Obviously, he'll pay you back. He's just in a bit of a tight spot and needs to pay the consulate for his new passport. None of this is particularly far-fetched or difficult to believe, but all the same, it's not true. This is a spear phishing attempt. Your colleague's Facebook privacy settings are wide open, so his airport check-in was visible to the whole world, including our scammer, who only needed 5 minutes to Google your colleague's workplace, find you and your email address, and then fire off a compelling sob story. It doesn't even need to be that specific. How many people are going to question a Google Calendar meeting invitation from their boss? Just click here to RSVP, sign into Google, and as easy as that, you've given away your login details. So aside from ignoring emergency emails from your friends and deleting anything your boss sends you without opening it, what can you do to stay safe? Firstly, when you get an email, check, really check, that it is what it says it is. Secondly, never click any links provided. If someone wants you to log in, go to their website independently and log in from there. If you're still unsure, find a legitimate number and call the company involved to ask about the email. Customer security is a big deal, and they won't be fazed by being asked questions like this. Thirdly, if you absolutely have to follow a link, triple check the URL of the website you've been sent to and make sure it matches up with where you log in normally. Just seeing a padlock is not enough. There are all kinds of tricks to fool even those with a deep understanding of URL schemas, so you need to exercise extreme caution. Phishing attacks are called that for a reason. A lot of the time, those behind them are just throwing out a line and seeing who bites. But by being aware of how these kinds of scams operate and exercising vigilance, you're making it far less likely that you'll be the one to take the bait.
Okay, so I know that you are savvy. I know that you have an idea of what you should be looking out for. I know that because you've been taking my classes and you've heard me yammer on and on about this. And I know that even sometimes you also get these same emails. Maybe they're from your neighbor or from your niece. I know you do because you forward them to me. And if you should get one, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. You may find that there are typically 3 ways in which these phishing emails come in to your inbox. They may come in your email, in your text messages, or even over the phone. So I also want to play this video for you, okay? Because this happens so frequently to my clients, and it's usually what happens right before they call me. And so I want to play this to give you an idea of this very common tech support scam. Here we go.
2 important things to know about tech support scams are this. First, Microsoft and other legitimate tech companies will not call, email, or text to report you have a problem with your device. Second, pop-up notifications from these companies don't include phone numbers you must call in order to get help. Knowing these 2 things will help save a lot of time and stress when it comes to tech scams. Like phishing and some malware attacks, crooks are using scare tactics into tricking you into getting unnecessary technical support services. This could come as a text message, an email, maybe even a pop-up that appears on your screen that's really scary. If you respond to them, they'll want to get access to your computer so they can fix a supposed problem. But what they may do may even cause more problems, including putting malware in your computer or stealing personal data. So, if you get a phone call, hang up. If you get a text message or an email, delete it. A few other things you can do. 1, check for your updates regularly. 2, you can report a scam. Go to Microsoft.com/reportascam, and our investigators will take your information and use it in their ongoing efforts. And third, tell somebody about it. Now, that may sound embarrassing, but these folks are counting on you being quiet. So, talking to a friend, a colleague, or family member, you can help educate them. Like your home, be diligent on who you invite into your PC and devices. For more information about tech scams and other security tips, go to support.microsoft.com/security.
Okie dokie. Oh my gosh, I get so many calls from clients who see these pop-ups come up on their screens, and a lot of times they panic and then they end up giving over information. And then I even have heard this happen so many times where they've paid $3,000 to get a virus taken off and an antivirus installed, all from the same scammer. This has happened many, many times, which is why I'm so passionate about communicating it with you. When you receive a phishing email, I want you to beware of what I call the telltale signs. The first one I want you to beware of is unsolicited attachments. Beware of them. Do not click on them. Delete them. The next thing I want you to beware of is requesting sensitive information via email. Okay, chances are if you're getting email from requesting sensitive information, chances are it's a scam. And most companies will not send you an email asking for passwords, credit card information, credit scores, or tax numbers. Nor will they send you a link from which you need to log into. Also, one of the easiest ways you can tell if it's a scam or not is by hovering your mouse or tapping the from field. Look at who it is from. Most often, it's from a public email address like a Gmail account or a Hotmail account. So I want you to get in the habit of looking and really seeing who is this email from. Don't just read it at face value or accept it at face value. Finally, I want you to beware of typos. Every single time I see a scam email, I notice typos. And the reason is that these emails, they're written by non-native speakers. And so the formatting is going to be a little bit off. There'll be a missing word. It just won't make sense. And that's why you need to stop what you're doing. Don't get panicked because they're saying they're going to cut off your Yahoo account or else. Just read it really carefully, see who it's from, see if there are any typos, and delete it. If you happen to receive any scams that come through your text messages, these are called smishing, S-M-I-S-H-I-N-G. And they're trying to lure you into providing personal and or financial information. This is a scam. Your bank may send you an alert if they notice spending occurring, but please do not trust those URLs nor the phone numbers that you see in these text scams. When you do receive them, and I don't even have to say if, because I know it's a when you do receive them, there's some numbers down below here for you to call. One is for the FTC. There's a second one there for the FCC. And the AARP has a section on their website for fraud alerts. You can check there regularly to see if the scam that you're receiving is also on their website. In order to protect your accounts, I want you to start practicing good hygiene. Now, we've all had to up our hygiene in the past 2 years so that we can protect our immune systems and protect other people. So typically, good hygiene online is two-part: security and privacy. Good hygiene includes strong passwords, maybe using a password manager, and enabling two-factor authentication. Now, if you've spent any time with me, you'll know I'm very concerned about your passwords. Why? because I've helped you time and time again log into an account, create a new password, and I know statistics show that we are using the same password across 3 accounts. Yes, that's right. So if one of those accounts is breached, you know that that hacker is going to have access to those other 2 accounts. So I want you to start creating unique passwords for each account. All of your passwords need to be at least 12 characters long because they increase in their difficulty to hack by decades with every digit you add. So an 8-character password can take a hacker 2 minutes to crack, but a 12-character password can take a hacker 5 decades to crack. So start using longer passwords. Now, some of my clients really like using password managers. It's like a vault. You only have to remember 1 password in order to gain access. But some of my clients truly dislike it. If you like this, install it on your phone and work with it. If you don't, it is your job to come up with more secure passwords. Additionally, a newer thing has been added to our password protection, and that is called multi-factor authentication. It's also called 2-step verification. And a lot of my clients dislike this so much because they have to look for a code that they can't find, or they saw it pop up, but now they can't find it. And they really, really dislike this. But I want to teach you to lean into it. I want to teach you that it's so valuable to you to have this set up as often and on as many accounts as possible. Because the multi-factor authentication is verifying your identity based on something you know, like maybe a PIN for your phone, something you have, like your phone, and something you are, like a fingerprint or your facial ID. And instead of disliking it, I want you to lean into it. I want you to use it. And if you hate getting those codes and finding those codes, then what I want you to do is I want you to go into those accounts and I want you to change the preferences. So instead of receiving a code on your phone, you'll get an email or even a phone call. You can request that. So do lean into those multi-factor authentication. Another thing that helps you have good hygiene is when you are
Let's go down that way.
I think there's.
yeah, okay, there we go. When you
Let's see.
download your updates. Yep, that's right. When you are downloading your
No,
update.
no one in here.
It's fine.
Hold on 1 second, dear. I am muting everyone,
Oh.
and I am also hiding some of your cameras because there are many people here who have their cameras off. So just give me 1 minute and let me do this.
Thank you.
Okay, so at the end, what I will do is I will bring you back and unmute you. So I've just muted you right now because it's too noisy in the background. Okay. All right. So please go ahead and lean into your updates. A lot of my clients don't want to do this. You don't want the new emojis. You don't want things to change. I get it. But in every single update, there are security patches and you do want those. So please do the software updates. So many of my tech support calls would be prevented if my clients updated their software. Okay. Now, in order to protect your accounts, I have a couple of tips for you. The first one is to do some spring cleaning of your devices. And what that means is to delete unused apps. So I want you to go in, put your finger on the apps that you're not using, and then remove it and delete that information. I also want to encourage you to turn off ad personalization. You can opt out of Google, opt out of Apple, opt out of Facebook ad personalization. This way, it's not tracking you. You can also opt out of Google ad personalization by going into your Google Chrome settings and toggling off web and app activity. You can do the same thing on your Apple devices. And now this is in your settings, privacy, and then you're going to toggle off your personalized ads. If you're on your MacBook or on your computer, you would also go into your system preferences, click on security and privacy, and then toggle and deselect personalized ads. Location services is another place where you can stop that tracking on your phone. And this way, Apple isn't going to be sending you advertisements for a location that you're nearby if you don't want to be tracked. And you can do the same thing on your computer as well. So people always ask me, what should I do? I'm overwhelmed. And I say, just do a little bit each day. Start with the passwords. Add in a password manager. Make them more difficult, make them longer, make them more complex. That's the first thing I'd recommend. If you are the unfortunate victim of a data breach, then there are some tips here. And data breaches occur when some of your confidential information has been exposed. It could involve a loss of identity, a theft of your social security information, or your credit card numbers. In the event of a data breach, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, number one, check those passwords. Have they been repeated on any other account? And are they complex enough? Number two, go ahead and monitor your bank. Now, a lot of times your bank will send you an alert or they'll call you. They may leave you a message. So monitor those alerts. Number three, check your credit report. Now, again, this is just after a data breach. You don't have to do this all the time, just after the unfortunate event of a data breach. And number four, take fast action. These things happen. They happen to the best of us. And a lot of times we may be the savviest consumers. We may be the savviest, online and know what is and what isn't a scam, but sometimes they will get to you at your weakest moment. You could be rushed, you could be ill, and then they may get to you. So please take fast action by calling your bank and letting them know what has happened. And finally, if you're particularly gullible, particularly vulnerable, I really want you to install something like Norton LifeLock. And here's why. I've had a couple of clients, one couple in particular, they had a tech support scam. They had me come over, we removed it, and they even ended up paying for this tech support scam. And now just again, I've seen it happen so many times. And I thought that we had properly protected them and I had properly warned them about this or about that, or they had learned their lesson once, but just about a month later, they called me again and said, yeah, my husband just agreed to a tech support scam again. So what we did then was we then put Norton 360 on all of their devices to prevent that from happening ever again. So as we wrap up here, I'm available to answer any questions for you. This is the end of the presentation. And I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share and bring you back for some questions. And in the meantime, if you do not have any questions, then it's been wonderful to be with you
Mute.
today.
Unmute.
Hi,
Hi, I have a question.
yes, go right ahead.
I took this over to David, actually. And he couldn't give me the answer.
Okay.
So here's the question. It's from Equifax. Equifax data breach settlement. Credit monitoring instructions and activation code. Oh, hold on a second. Isabel, can we call you back? That's my granddaughter. Wait a minute. Okay. I have to call her back. Anyway, so this is a letter, an email from Equifax. It's from the Equifax Breach Settlement Administrator. I don't see any misspellings in here or anything, and it's a 2-page email, and it's about how Equifax their database was breached, and now they say they're going to give us 4 years of Experian. Identity Works for 4 years, and we have to enroll by June 27th, 2022. So it's not something immediate. They're not threatening. They're not, putting you under pressure or anything like that. So the question was, is this a true settlement email?
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably look it up. I may even call them. Are they asking for information from you?
No, not that I know of. I haven't gone to that far because I didn't want to, get in trouble by clicking on anything. They do have, for more information about Experian Identity Works, or if you cannot register online, please call toll-free this number. If you have any questions about the settlement, call the Equifax Data Breach Settlement Administrator at this number. So there are 2 different numbers.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people submitted something to Google. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, because a lot of times this is what I do also. This is what I just did, is I will go to Google and I'll type in Equifax Data Breach Settlement and the date, 2022. And then I look and look and I try to see if it is legit or not. That is what I do. Now, it doesn't sound to me like they're trying to get information from you.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to inform you, right?
I think so. I mean, they do say, visit the Experian Identity Works website, enter your activation code, which I haven't done. And I have until June 27th. So I say they're not putting pressure on you to do it right away or else, type of thing.
Yeah.
And for assistance with fraud or identity, for more information on identity restoration services, visit this website, another website.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's very hard for me to tell without looking at it myself.
Okay.
I can't tell if I couldn't tell just by looking at it, then I would do this kind of thing and just do a bunch of searches online about it.
I see somebody else is asking the same thing.
Yeah.
Fact or fiction? Is a settlement email legit?
Right. So I just can't tell without looking at it. I could probably tell it quickly with viewing it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about how you can do that. You're very busy right now.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, how would I get to show this to you? Because
you can email it to me.
Okay. I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, forward it to me. People do that all the time.
Okay. I will do that. So that is because my daughter got the same thing and she had the same question. So, because this happened like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I mean, this has been going on for a couple of years. The settlement was delayed by appeals. The settlement's now effective because the appellate courts have affirmed it. So, I mean, it sounds legitimate to me. So, anyway, it's one of those companies where you found out what your credit score is, right? What your credit score is like on these three companies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are the three. Okay, that was my big question.
Yeah, it's so hard to know without looking at it.
Okay, I'll forward it to you.
Okay. Or you can also go on to the AARP. Do you hear the dog snoring? Do you hear him? He's snoring so loud. Sometimes I tell him to, sometimes he even wakes me up at night. I tell him to stop.
He's happy in his new home, obviously.
Okay, so here we go. We're at the AARP website here. And aarp.org. If I scroll down over here, first I had to click on the menu in order to make that index appear on the side. So this menu. And then I go down here to scams and fraud. And I look and look. So I don't see it here.
Okay.
But let's see, I'm looking for credit repair. You know, you can always call their hotline. You can always report it on their scam tracking map. Okay, so here's something. I'm not sure. I am really not sure. But what I will do is I will send you the chat, and I'm going to send you a link in the chat, and I'm going to say, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. To me, I think that they would probably ask you to do something right away or else.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see any typos in it?
No, I've read it several times and I don't see any. And that is something that does alert me when I get these emails.
Me too. Me too. Any other questions I can answer for you?
All right. Thank you, Abby.
You are welcome. All right. I will get this recording out, and I'm probably going to ask David to continue doing the tech clinics because the timing of these is very, 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 very tight for me with the kids. So I'm probably going to have him continue doing those clinics. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming today. And I will see you again next week. Thank you. Or next month.
Thanks, Abby.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Welcome.